Hey, sexy. I'm glad you can join me today on another episode of Ebony Erotix. Hey, y'all, it's Shamina Geneva. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to the series Ebony Erotix. This is episode 2. If you didn't watch episode 1, make sure you go back so you can understand the whole precedent of this entire series and why I think the erotic is important to me as an individual and to us as a collective. Ebony Erotix is a series where we talk about all things sex, love, intimate relationships, and pleasure. I forgot to mention pleasure as an integral part of this channel and what inspired me to make this channel and live an erotic life. So keep that in mind as we go forward with this series, with this specific episode, that the quest to feel good and to pleasure ourselves in a world that denies us pleasure is erotic. That is how we can dive into the erotic and embody the erotic and live a whole erotic life with erotic value. And speaking of erotic value, the winner for my raffle for a free sex toy, someone who liked this episode, subscribe to my channel, and answer the question, what in your life has erotic value? And that winner is my baby, Zara Ba. If you don't follow Zara Ba or subscribe to her channel, make sure you do. I'll put it below. Now, let's get into episode 2 of Ebony Erotix, the erotic and self-care. Dun dun dun. Lately, I've been going through a very raggedy ass time. I realized that I didn't have a method of self-care, that I never really built one for myself. I never really built a space for me personally, in exclusively me, to feel pleasure, you know. I've always knew how to get through things. As many Black women, we know how to get over that mountain, but how to take care of ourselves after that journey is kind of lost on many of us. So we have to make sure that while we are exploring the erotic, that we're also leaving a space where we can take care of ourselves using all the knowledge that we learn from the erotic. Now, I have come up with 7 self-care tips using eroticism, and how we can use these desires and these suppressed emotions and feelings that feed our need to feel alive, you know. Now, before we get into the specific ways we can care for ourselves using the erotic, I just want to reiterate my definition of the erotic that will be used to influence this episode and the rest of the series. I have understood the erotic to be the untapped, unexpressed sexual, sensual power from our core, our deepest yeses, who we really are and what we really want when we are transforming from a survival-based, capitalistic, patriarchal, anti-Black society, our most authentic subjectivities. Now, I broke down self-care into 7 types of self-care. The 7 types of self-care are emotional, personal, physical, spiritual, social, relational, practical, and mental, psychological. Physical self-care would include pleasing your senses, having a comfortable environment, your health and wellness, and sex. Mental and psychological self-care would include gaining knowledge, taking screen and social media breaks, reading. Emotional self-care might mean crying, coping mechanisms, venting, and other therapeutic services. Social relational would include setting boundaries, quality time, and love exchanges. Personal self-care can include creativity, your hobbies, your goals, and other small pleasures in life. Practical self-care would involve risk avoidance, to-do lists, managing finances, taking off from work. And spiritual self-care can include your belief systems, the things that give you hope and faith, hanging out in nature, meditation, yoga, and mindfulness. And as you keep watching, think about how you can fulfill these 7 types of self-care using my erotic self-care tips. The first erotic way of self-care is, of course, sex. Nice, good, bust down you know. Now, responsible, safe, healthy sex allows us to have a vulnerable, intimate, emotional connection through a pleasurable experience. Sex is also a way to relieve stress. It's a good freaking exercise. It's a way to release endorphins, dopamine, serotonin. These are neurotransmitters that help us with pleasure, with happiness, with the reward system that our body needs to continue searching for good things. Also, is a way for us to bond with people that we might care about, that we might love. And it's an experience that allows us to be vulnerable with people we love that we might not do outside of the bedroom. Sex boosts your mood, it improves sleep, it gets your blood pumping, it releases estrogen and collagen and keep your skin glowing. So that glow you get after you get something good, yeah, I'm saying that's real. That's science, baby. Like, sex is also good for manifestation. And when you use Tantra as a way to engage with sex where pleasure is at the forefront, where understanding how you like to be pleasured, understanding your body and the connection between masculine and feminine energies, when you listen to that part of you, then that expands sex into a whole nother way of it taking care of you and healing you. Because sex is the greatest tool of creation there is on this planet. It literally creates life. So that is not something to undermine at all when we're speaking about the ways that it can influence our spirit and our emotions and our mental. Now, my second way of erotic self-care is, of course, masturbation. A nice good old rub out. It's a way that you confront yourself in a very vulnerable way that a lot of people are ashamed of doing. Touch yourself so you know how you like to be touched. Please yourself so you know how you like to be pleased. And don't just masturbate to practice for partner sex. Masturbation helps you have an understanding of your body in a very intimate, sensual way. It allows you to know the ultimate points of pleasure without any external influences, without another partner, without money, without material items, just you. Masturbation is perfect for manifestation. To conjure up that sexual creative energy by yourself without any judgment, without having to worry about another body, another person, another soul, to be able to focus on you and your intention alone is powerful. So next time you bust one out, next time you getting ready, next time you pull that vibrator out or you pull that lotion out, think of something that you want. Think of something that you've been dying to have. Think of a way that you would love to feel good and build that as you build that orgasm. Because it's how we're supposed to be moving through life. Like, every single thing I choose to do is going to give me a good ass nut. So practice that while you giving yourself a good ass nut. It stimulates creativity. It activates the sacral chakra, which is involved with sex and creativity and our emotions. That area is highlighted and it can open a door to many more creative endeavors, many more creative ideas, in my opinion. Masturbation also helps with period cramps. I know masturbation is already so taboo that many of us are shameful, or embarrassed, or disgusted by touching ourselves and our bodies. And I know even more so while we're bleeding or menstruating. But one of the neurotransmitters that's released during an orgasm is endorphins. And those are opioid-like neurotransmitters or chemicals that help ease pain. If you're feeling a little cramped up, then it's okay. It's your blood, it's your body, and that is a major thing to learn about masturbation, is getting to know your body and not being afraid of your body. Because how can you, one, give your body up, not just give your body up, but how can you engage in these physical relationships if you yourself aren't comfortable with your body? You're not going to see your body exactly how you should be seeing your body. You're going to be seeing it from other people's eyes all the time. And that is not healthy. You deserve to tap into every piece of your body because it is your body. And you shouldn't be ashamed or disgusted or scared to tap into every single part of your body, including your genitals, including the pressure points of your body that make you feel good. And that's hard. You have to practice teaching yourself how to feel good. You have to practice understanding what feels good. And little by little, you unlearn the boundaries that you didn't create around your body. And you break those down and you see your body as a landscape that is for your discovery. Lastly, as someone with a vagina, I know that less than a third of us actually can consistently orgasm off of penetrative sex. Many women and many people with vaginas have a hard time with penetrative sex, penis inside vagina. And clitoral stimulation is usually the way to go. So masturbating allows you to engage in different ways of pleasing yourself that you might not have gotten consistently with your partner or with other partners, without judgment, without fear, without feeling like that you have to leave space for someone else's pleasure. A third example of erotic self-care is indulgence, baby. I'm a Taurus, so hedonism is kind of how I lead my life. You know, I feel like pleasure and feeling good is a principle of living. Like, we came to earth to experience aliveness, not just bare minimum survival, you know. Treat yourself. Practice feeling good. Practice what a good life feels like. The systems in our life encourage the extremes of both greed and asceticism. It tells us that you have to get to the top, but make sure you suppress all type of feeling while you're on the way there. So I think that we have to learn. We have to take those luxury flights. We have to take those vacations. We have to ball out, drop a bag, you know what I'm saying? Because we have to learn, we have to practice. And of course we can't do this all the time. You know, of course we can't allow material greed to overrun our lives and to replace the erotic. We can't allow greed and superficial materialism to replace the love that we have for ourselves, to replace our true desires and our true needs. But we can indulge in things to help us remember that feeling good is a right. It will make us look at the world as a mission to get more things that make us feel good and the people around us feel good. So yeah, indulge in those shopping sprees. Beat your face just cause. Like, look like a lavish bitch just cause. Live a lavish and luxurious lifestyle when you can just cause. So you can know that life is worth living. Because these experiences that you create for yourself make you feel grand, make you feel like a king, a queen, like royalty, like a goddess, you know? Like, we can't be complicit with the bare minimum, especially when we have people in our lineage who fought for us to be able to fight for more than a bare minimum, for a life that is luxurious and grand and fulfilling and makes us feel alive. Number 4. Engagement with the senses. Now, I want to read the definition of sensuality. Sensuality is described as the condition of being pleasing or fulfilling to the senses. When you think of feeling sensual, you think of your body, how your body feels. You think about maybe the smell of some perfume or cologne. You think about the taste of champagne and chocolate. You think about the feel of roses and silk and lingerie. Like, so much of our interaction with the world, actually, all of our interaction with the world is through our senses. Engage with the world in the way that makes you feel the best. Use your senses to turn you on, baby. When we are turned on, we are energized. Think about when you feeling like you can't wait to get home to bed because you had a couple mimosas, you had a couple, you know what I'm saying, and you ready to give them that, you know what I'm saying. So you jump, you like, oh yes, you know, when you feeling horny, like, you know what I'm saying, before you even get the sex, like, you are already like pumped. Think about when you're waiting for your food, you wait for that Uber Eats and your food on its way, and you like, oh shit, like I'm about to eat good. Like that's our engagement with the senses, and that is the way we move about the world. And we have to make sure that each step that we take, each experience that we are absorbing and giving out is a pleasurable experience, because I mean life is going to give us shitty experiences anyway, so we might as well do what we can to give ourselves the pleasurable ones. Your engagement with the senses is a very present experience. It's something that you have to be there for. But when you're eating something mouth-watering, the food is the best when you're still eating it, not when you're finished. Sex is the best in it, the journey of it. Yes, we all try to reach that orgasm, but we're supposed to enjoy it in the moment. The feel good is in the now. We can't understand what something would feel like later when we're not there. So we have to make sure that we are very present with the things that we touch, the things that we see, the things that we smell, taste, hear. You know, we have to create those boundaries and open up some of those walls that inhibit us from feeling the most that we can in the most pleasurable way. This entire earthly world is a sensory experience. Even for some of us who don't have one of these senses, another one of those senses is heightened, because we live in a world that is meant for us to engage with the senses and for us to feel. Some ways to engage with the senses could include candles and incense, self-massage, aromatherapy, hot waxes, hot tubs, baths, showers, good food, silk and lingerie, soulful, sexy music. My fifth erotic tip on self-care is dancing. I love to dance. It makes me feel free. It makes me feel like I'm the sexiest bitch in the room. Everything just feels like it's in perfect alignment. Like the vibrations of music is in perfect alignment with the energy of my body, and everything just feels like one. Dancing connects you with your body. It makes you remember your body in parts that you probably haven't moved in a long time or consciously moved. With COVID, like our bodies have been restricted. When we were working in cubicles, and we were working out in the farms where we were sitting on our ass all day, or we sitting on buses all day, or we just take our commute from work from sitting all day and sitting in the car all day and then getting home and sitting and watching TV all day. We miss out on a lot of the movement that our bodies can do. You know what I'm saying? Of the space that our bodies can take up in a beautiful rhythmic way. Dancing also just helps you learn how you move your body, and that can translate into sex. That's muscle memory. You know, when you already are comfortable moving your body by yourself or in a function in front of people, then you learn the ways that your body likes to bend, the way that movement makes you feel sexy and good and confident. You know, dancing builds that confidence and that sexiness that can be translated into the bedroom and to other areas of our life. Lastly, sex also activates the kundalini, or a part of the kundalini, which is a life force energy that is based in the root of our bodies, our root chakra, and it works out its way up to our crown chakra. It is the basis of all creative, expressive, sexual, sensual energy. So many of us are so afraid of our own bodies and afraid of allowing our bodies to be free from the boundaries that we place on ourselves out of fear, out of shame, out of embarrassment, out of whatever. Because when I'm dancing, I don't give a fuck who looking at me. I am having a great time because it is my world, and I am spinning my body into something beautiful right now, and you have nothing to do with it unless I bring you along this journey and I throw this ass back on you. Now, my sixth way of erotic self-care is introspection and healing work. Looking inside of ourselves and breaking down some of the preconceived thoughts and notions we had around the erotic, around our bodies and sexuality and love and relationships and pleasure. Much of our engagement with the erotic is derived from our childhood memories and our childhood experiences of touch, of desire, of trauma, of impulse. Much of the things that we want now, much of the things that we need now to make us feel good aren't that much different from what we needed as a child. Tapping into these childhood memories, or any memories that we have of the boundaries and preconceived notions of the erotic, and dealing with these emotions that are attached to these memories, is a perfect way of assisting us in living a progressive, tender, erotic life. Because once we understand the things that has held us back from the erotic and the things that we've always wanted from the erotic, we can build a life that is genuine and true to all the things that make us feel good, that make us feel like us. Take care of yourself by eradicating these blockages that have held you back from an erotic life. All the things that you thought about yourself and about sexuality and the erotic and the relationships that you hold or supposed to hold. You have to reevaluate all those things. What made you feel good as a child and what makes you feel good now? What didn't? Why were you scared to make yourself feel good as a child? Why are you scared to make yourself feel good now? These are very important questions to ask before we even step into an erotic lifestyle, because before we even tackle many of these things and we just step into a way of life that is not exactly conducive to our desires, we build superficial desires. We build a lifestyle that is controlled by the patriarchy, by superficial prescribed eroticism. Do your shadow work. Engage with the erotic in a way that you've never engaged with it before. Remember yourself. Go to therapy or talk to a friend, talk to a trusted person who have maybe experienced some of the things that you experienced as a child that has shaped your idea of the erotic. Join a support group, but just make sure that you don't forget to look inside of yourself before you go out and reach for the things that you think you want because your judgment is clouded or because your idea of what makes you feel good is tainted by all the ways that you weren't allowed to feel good. I also suggest engaging in some of your childhood pleasures. Engage with some of the things that made you feel good as a child so you can remember, so you can tap into a very primal place of eroticism, of desire, of the things that you need to make you feel alive. Because before we were hit with these systems of capitalism and patriarchy and racism, we were a child who just wanted to feel alive, who wanted to experience life and everything that it has to offer. And many times we have to tap back into that little person, look at them, remember them, and allow them to lead you. So my seventh and last erotic way of self-care is exploration. Go out there and see the world, baby. Eat it all up. It is yours. How can we know what makes us feel good if we are limiting ourselves to our comfort zone, which is already limiting itself to our limited life experiences? The way that we move about the world, the senses we ignore, the shadow work we don't do, the ways we don't move our body, the sex we don't have, the engagements that we avoid, limits our life into a bubble of something without imagination. And you have to allow that imagination sometimes to lead your life, because the experiences that we have on a daily, experience that we allow ourselves to have, and experiences that we are boxed into, limits our view. If we are in a 4x4 box, I don't know nothing about an 8x8. I don't know nothing about across the street. I don't know nothing about across the country. You have to break down those walls so you can see the grander scale of life. Don't be afraid to love new things. And yeah, some of the new things that we try aren't going to always hit. They're not going to always be pleasurable, and we're not going to always want to do them again, but that's also a learning experience. It's two sides of the same coin. The no's and the yeses are all what creates our boundaries and our desires around the erotic. Stepping outside your comfort zone and exploring the grandness of the world allows you to form your personhood by immersing yourself in life experiences that can possibly shape you to be the person that you're meant to be. But if you're too scared to maybe even switch something up on the menu at the restaurant that you go to all the time, you could have no idea that that next thing that you try could have been better than those damn chicken fingers and fries. You have never known because you're so scared to hate something. You can't be more scared to hate something than you are scared to not love something. Some ways to explore your life and yourself is to take risks, try new things, switch up your style, your hair, say more yeses. Stop being afraid of bringing more life experiences to you, just because life is scary, and we're already going to get, like I said, we're already going to get some bullshit in this life, because we have to learn, we have to experience bullshit so we can feel the grandness of the things that aren't bullshit. So yeah, sometimes it's not always going to hit, but when it do, that's another piece of yourself that you found to join you on this journey. So those were my 7 erotic tips on self-care. If you guys have more tips, let me know. I thank you guys for listening, and I can't wait for you guys to see what I have next on Ebony Erotix. That was corny. I gotta do a better outro.